So I'm going to be now going to be putting this into my community if anybody would like. All right. Well, we're on the live here if anybody wants to join. Dr. Dave, still good to see you around, man. We like it. We like you. Good job. What's going on, everybody? So you can either ask questions in here, you can ask questions in here, or you can choose to join if you want. If you are if you're in the waiting room, let me know. Can. I'm not sure why I can't bring people on here. Not sure what's going on. Yeah, that's very weird. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure how to bring you in here, man, to be quite honest. No, it seems that you did, my man. You kicked out the people that were going against you here. You muted me the entire time, so I gave it to you. I'm not going to try to join back or anything like that. You know, I'm not going to try to hurt your feelings. And you know, you think me knocking on somebody's door is harassment. So, I'm not going to do anything like that. All right, we'll bring him in here. There we go. Finally, we actually had somebody in the waiting room that wanted to join. So, know your rights. What's going on? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on, my man?
Hold on 1 second, dude. I've got some feedback.
Yeah, see, there you go. More empty threats. Empty threats from a full stomach of carbs. Well done. Thank you, Dr. Dave. Oh, all right. Well, we had him. He left. He left. Not sure why he left, but he did leave. So I posted the link in my community. So if you'd like, you can join it. If not, I wouldn't blame you. How we doing?
All right, man. I think I got you now.
All right, cool.
I had the YouTube app open, so I was getting the double dose.
It's all right. It happens, man. It happens. I had some technical difficulties in the beginning too. So
Yeah, so I just discovered you, man. Could you just kind of update me on like how long you've been fighting and like what your background is? Like you're obviously teaching yourself the law.
I'm. What do you mean, like my fight? What do you mean? What do you
like referring? You've got several lawsuits going.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So, you've got several. Like I said, I just found you. I just learned about you, so I'm kind of just trying to get updated. I'm sure there's probably a lot of other people too
Yeah, no worries, man. When you said fighting, I thought you meant like actually fighting, because I do fight.
No, no, no. I don't condone any violence, man. The smart way to fight is legally.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm an amateur boxer. So, so I started about 6 months ago. It was about the beginning of September last year. And realistically, why I wanted to start in the beginning, I watched these videos for probably close to 2 years before I went and started filming and stuff like that. So I did my research. I watched the people that I wanted to emulate, and I noticed some flaws and some really good points. And I took the flaws, and I knew that myself, being who I am and how I speak and how I conduct myself, I knew I could fill holes where other people can't. And I put my own spin on a lot of other people's really good qualities. So
That's great.
doing that. And in the beginning, when I went out, I had a very not good outlook on this, because I really thought that in today's day and age, with where there are cameras everywhere, and because cameras are absolutely everywhere, they're everywhere you go. So with that being the truth, I was absolutely shocked and amazed and kind of in disbelief that people would act the way they do when I'm simply out in a public, like even on a public street, holding a phone. And people want to come up and fight. They want to come up and call the cops on you. They want to get in your face, and it's very interesting. So that's definitely one of the big reasons why.
So who are some of your, when you say like the people that you were following, I imagine that they were like First Amendment auditors or civil rights activists. Who were some of the people that you were trying to emulate, or people who that really inspired you?
So AP, M Against the Press, first of all, watching The Watchmen.
Yeah, they're great.
Shout out to them. Delete Laws, Chili, as you guys heard about probably tonight. He was definitely one of my bigger motivators. I've watched Long Island Audits, a bunch of different ones,
Yeah, I agree. When I started watching or found Chili, he had like 70,000 people, subscribers on YouTube, and it wasn't that long ago. It was like probably less than 2 years ago.
Yeah, I found about at like 130 or something like that, like 120, 130, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to give the guy some credit. I think he's got like 550,000 people now, approximately.
Absolutely, man. He's a hustler. He puts out a whole lot of content, and it's something that I've been struggling with, and I'm still taking my time to study up and making sure that I'm crossing all my T's and dotting all my I's here, and making sure I'm on the up and up with absolutely everything that I do, because that's the way I conduct myself, not like Dr. Drunkard over here that we had to.
Yeah, so the guy when I just was like, all right, like who are some new people that I found who's live? I like scrolled through who was live. I found you, and I was like, oh, I just found this guy, and I enjoyed the content that I found. So let me get on his live here. And one of the biggest problems I noticed about the movement or the community and the way I think about it is like you're collectively part of the We the People movement.
Okay.
But I couldn't find like your email address. It's not in your description on your YouTube channel. So I've basically been like connecting and reaching out to like, the best people I can find in the community. And a lot of those people are lawyers. And so my goal is to, just a little bit about me. My goal is to actually pursue a Juris Doctorate.
Okay. So, that's interesting. I really did think I had my my email in there. So I'm going to definitely put that in there now, for sure, without a doubt. I really, for the longest time, I thought that I had that in there. So that's my fault.
Yeah. So basically, I'm glad that I was able to bring that to your attention, because it's I think it's critically important, and that people who are trying to do something similar to what you're doing, more specifically, even young people like yourself. I'm actually 41 years old,
Okay.
but I've actually been arrested and charged with 3 felonies that I did not commit. And
Really?
so far to this date, I've won every case, and I'm fighting a case pro se right now. So we have some things in common.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. That's definitely what I wanted to make part of my story with doing this, and show that you know, because since I started out with this idea and I told the people around me that what I was doing, they were saying, no, you know, there's no way that you can just sit down and watch YouTube videos and study and take notes and then, you know, go out and get, you know, you're not going to get these people that are going to want to even fight you in the beginning, but nonetheless, you know, have somebody illegally arrest you. These cops know what they're doing. I'm like, I could almost guarantee you that they don't. And I have pretty much I would say close to 95% of the times that I go out and audit, I have, you know, people getting in my face, giving me confrontation, and the cops being called. So it's a tragedy to see people.
Yeah, it's authority only supported through violence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so you can't play that game with them, even though they want to provoke you to the point where they can, you know, get a physical reaction from you.
Right, and nobody does. Nobody does. Many people have tried, and the same number have failed every single time. You've seen it both times with Dr. Dave's live, his rendition.
Yeah, I don't actually know who that guy is. The first video I saw of you was you meeting some guy, or supposed to meet a guy. Actually, he did show up at the end of the video not that long ago, and he signed some documents, which you said you were surprised about.
Yeah,
but
that was the ex-chief that arrested me. My first arrest. That was Chief Middleton of New Ellington. So.
Right. So, I don't know, what jurisdiction you're fighting in. I think I remember seeing or hearing that you were in Florida. And then also, so this guy that you were just debating, like when I came on your live stream, he sounded to me like a cop, like a pompous, arrogant jerk who really has nothing effective or illuminating to say, which is reminiscent in my mind of all the police, except the ones that I know personally or that are my friends, but any that I've ever encountered out in public, that's their demeanor. It's like, us versus them. We're the power, we're the authority, you know, we're not going to let you talk or make any points or get anything out. We're going to control, we have to control the narrative.
Right. This is exactly what Dr. Dave tried to do, you know. He muted me multiple times. I'm sure you heard it going back.
Oh yeah, I kind of caught the tail end of it there, but it was I was like, what I initially thought was that you actually weren't a part of another stream, you were just kind of kind of quarterbacking something else that was going on, you weren't actually a part of it. But then when you were they muted me, and I'm like, oh man, this is a quintessential stereotypical police.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, might you down, suppress you, don't let you talk. And then on top of that, I could tell he was an older gentleman, maybe not a gentleman. That might be too much to say, but I could tell he was an older guy. And I'm like, man, the comments coming out of this guy's mouth, you know, it reminded me of when I was 10.
Yeah. It's very childish, to say the least, without question.
I'm like, how does this kid? I get my estimation is you're in your mid-20s, maybe early mid-20s. I'm like, how does this kid have more sense than a grown man? And so, if you could just confirm my suspicion about who he is exactly, and then differentiate whether or not he was the guy in the parking lot signing those papers, that'll kind of give me some clarity.
No, you know, and you know, he doesn't want to put an uglier face to tyranny as there already is, and I don't blame him for that. So this is why he doesn't show his face on any of his lives.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I'm like, this guy wants to try to drag out all your personal details, but I'm like, well, who is he?
Right, he can't even show his face on the camera. And you know, I'm not bashing on anybody for being you know, not as self-confident in themselves as I am, and you know, when you look down,
sometimes it takes a lifetime.
Right. Some people grow old and some people don't grow up. Some people grow old and don't grow up. And, you know, Dr. Deranged Doofus, it seems to be a prime example of that. So,
I mean, that's an indoctrination of most Americans, man. Most Americans, unless you're really keen, really shrewd, very observant, you know, all of that will pass you by. If you're intelligent and observant, what you'll notice is that most Americans get to adulthood and then they just stall out completely. They have this ingrained, indoctrinated American pride. And it's I'm an American. I'm the best person in the world. I don't need to learn anything else or grow or you know, or ever become any better. Look how good I am. I'm the best.
Right.
You know, and they just plateau. And then that's it, man. They just sit there intellectually and hover there for the rest of their lives.
And you know, when you're stagnant, you're actually going backward. So, you know, when we don't move forward with other people's differences and have civil discourse, this is when problems get out of hand and sides separate further than they already are. This is another reason why I wanted to go out and start doing auditing, to be able to produce some transparency between the
Oh
public.
yeah. I mean, the only way that we will save this public, and I don't call it a republic anymore because, you know, that pays credence to authority, the system, you know, the definition of republic, you know, is one of, you know, kings and slaves and servants and masters. And, it's a poor system, man. Like, you know, if a cop does something wrong and I do something equally wrong, they're both equally wrong. You know,
Right.
the cop doesn't get to say, oh, well, you know, what I did that was wrong and was amoral is okay
Right.
because I have a gun and a badge. Like
Exactly. You know,
it's
I find qualified immunity to be the biggest load of BS that there is in the judicial system today. Whether it, you know,
can I push back on that a little bit?
Sure, go
There's
ahead.
actually something. There's actually two versions of immunities that are actually far more devastating than qualified immunity, and they should be tackled first. They're not as popular because they're not understood. You know, the way that qualified immunity is,
Right.
but they are two forms of immunities, and they're absolute immunities, and they're prosecutorial immunity and judicial immunity. So the same immunity that police have, they're like qualified immunity is like, you know, when you think about like, you know, the standards,
They can
like,
use ignorance to the law as a defense, and the public.
well, it's not that. It's qualified immunity is like a weaker strength of immunity. Absolute immunity is exactly how it sounds. It's absolute. Like
Right.
the judges and the prosecutors basically cannot be sued unless they're caught red-handed, you know, with the knife, stabbing the guy on camera, you know, and there's irrefutable evidence. And even then they'd be like, ah, that's a deep fake. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. And
So that to me, like what allows the police to get away with their crimes are the prosecutors, who are substantially more evil and devious and criminal than the police themselves. So when the police do something wrong, they are held up by the prosecutors, and the prosecutors are the smart ones, right? They're the professionally trained lawyers who look at the evidence and are like, and make the call. Like, okay, well, the cops did this wrong, and they did this wrong, and they did this wrong based on all of this evidence, but we don't want to be sued. So we are just going to hide all of the crimes of the police, and we're going to push forward this unlawful arrest or prosecution. In my case, I actually caught the prosecutors tampering with evidence and withholding critical exculpatory evidence. You ever heard of the DUI guy?
I kind of thought that was Dr. Deranged Doofus, to be honest, but
The DUI guy is Larry Foreman out of Kentucky.
okay.
His channel is a DUI guy plus. He's got like 350,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I've seen a video or two of his. I just don't recognize him.
So I learn a lot. He actually posts his whole trials, some of them.
Okay.
And so I've learned a lot from him. I actually, in one of his lives, I sent him a question, a super chat, and I was like, hey, can prosecutors be held liable for their crimes if they're caught? Dude, it totally stumped him. He was like, man, that's a really good question. He's like, I don't know of any prosecutors who have ever been held accountable because this is exactly what he said verbatim, because they're so sneaky. No one ever catches them.
Yeah.
So I caught him during the proceedings. Like I had an attorney, I paid him thousands of dollars. I'm like, this guy's working against me deliberately. So I fired him. Then I got two more attorneys.
Wow.
And they one of them lied to the judge in court. And I was like, absolutely not. You're fired. All of you withdraw. So I ended up firing 3 attorneys over the last 18 months. And I took over the case myself. And what I discovered was that the prosecutor was withholding critical exculpatory evidence, and that the video of the incident that they supplied me was only like 25% of all of the video that was available. So now I'm waiting. The judge gave him at the last hearing, the judge gave him 30 days to to respond to my 12-page motion to dismiss, and that was like 35 days ago.
Yeah, I filed a motion to dismiss myself as well, and I have yet to hear anything back. And I already told the prosecution and everybody else about a month back that I'd be going pro se, and I have yet to have any evidence or anything that they're going to be using against me sent to me either. So
so what jurisdiction are you in? Because if you don't mind, like I'm not a lawyer, and so like anything that I say, obviously is not legal advice.
right.
But I emailed you already. So if you email me back the jurisdiction and I can look at the docket, I'll read your motions and your briefs, and then I can get a sense for like what you got going on.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in Aiken County. I think the New
What state?
is the one that I'm dealing with now. My last open court case is actually in Columbia. So it's in Columbia.
South Carolina you're in then?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've been to Columbia. I'm in Ohio.
Oh, okay. Oh boy, you better try to stay away from Dr. Dave. He's got his big.
Is he from Ohio?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Well, the Rust Belt is the most corrupt region of the country, hands down. And then like out west, based on my research, it would be like Arizona, and then probably followed up by Nevada. I don't know if you know this or not, but have you looked at the docket on Chili's case out in Nevada yet?
I have not just yet.
Okay, so I have, and people like all of his detractors are like, oh, he hasn't filed an appeal and blah, 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 blah. Like the guy's not he's not a moron. And he has filed, his lawyer actually gave notice on the day that he was jailed on the 19th, the day of the hearing. And so you have to give notice to appeal. He gave notice to appeal, but he couldn't do it before the judge ran out of the courtroom, which he did intentionally to make sure that his lawyer was denied that ability to give notice, because any motion in writing can be made in it during hearing too, until the judge runs out of the room and closes it. Mm-hmm. But so he made the writing and notice that day after the hearing, and then his appeal was actually filed on the 20th. So I actually think he'll be out next week, because the way that it works is on appeal. Like the municipal court, the common pleas court, that's like the first layer, right? Then the appeals court, that's the second layer. Then the Supreme Court, that's the ultimate layer, right? So that's how our system works. And so anytime, especially on a non-serious charge, anytime you file an appeal to have a conviction reversed, you get an appeal bond hearing. So he'll be let out on bond because because he's appealing, there's no way that they can revoke his bond on such a silly charge.
Yeah. Right.
So he'll be out, which is like, and knowing how it works, because I've been studying the law like this. I took my first bar exam, which was an older California baby bar. Okay. It was a condensed California bar exam that was administered in like 2018. I took my first one to see where I stood on the legal spectrum at the end of 2022, and I passed just barely.
Well, C's get degrees, man, as Dr. Dave should know. Dr. Doofus Dave would know. But yeah, so that's very. So how exactly did you figure out that they were holding exculpatory evidence from you? How exactly did you go about doing that? That's very interesting, actually.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'd love to tell you. So basically, what happened was, I had the first attorney. I'm like, look, man, I'm innocent. Get the evidence. So he was like him and Han. He wouldn't get the evidence. I'm like, so I sent him an email. I'm like, look, man, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't feel right. Can you file a motion for discovery to get the evidence to prove my innocence? And he didn't respond. He wouldn't respond to that. And then I sent him an ultimatum. I was like, look, man, if you're not going to do this for me, because this is what I hired you to do, I'm going to ask you to withdraw. So he claps back with this terrible email. It's all like his grammar's all over the place. He's like, it's like, obviously he's not a professional, I'm like, okay, this is not the guy I need representing me. Right. So I asked him to withdraw. He withdraws. And then I get two new attorneys. And they're all from the jurisdiction where it happened. And this is like one of the most important things that I learned. The funny thing is, at the time, my girlfriend was an attorney. She wasn't an attorney that was actually working as an attorney, but she had maintained her law license for like 15 years at that point. And she only ever worked on the civil side. She never worked on the criminal side. And she was like, "Oh, you need to get a good local attorney." So I'm like, who has the best reviews? You know what I mean, and all this.
Yeah, you got
And I hired this guy, and it turned out, I found out later that his partner in his firm, this jurisdiction has two courts. It's so big, it's split into two courthouses, and his partner was working as a defense attorney and a prosecutor in the other half of the jurisdiction.
Wow.
No conflict of interest there.
That's great. Yeah, no kidding. That's crazy.
Yeah. So up here in the Rust Belt, man, up here, Chicago, Buffalo, Toledo, Cleveland, all through the Rust Belt, man, the corruption is deep. It's excessive. And because they have so much control, and, everyone is so obedient and compliant, like, you don't stand a chance up here, basically.
Right.
If you don't have like a lot of chutzpah and nothing to lose, like, no one stands up to these people because they're so corrupt, they're so devious, they're so evil. They get away with their crimes literally 99.99% of the time.
Yeah, and the grassroots are deep there. So I know I'm actually from Massachusetts, so I don't know where you can't get away with more, or where you can't get away with more in either Ohio or Massachusetts. But it seems that you got a similar problem, not the same reason. They also do have way too much control in Massachusetts as well, and the laws are definitely set not for the people there. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, so what I've been doing, man, is basically studying every jurisdiction in the land to try to understand, where is the freest state? Where is the freest county? Where is the freest place to live in the United States? And I haven't figured that out yet. I work on it a lot. And I can tell you where I would absolutely not live. And so Ohio is where I'm leaving. Kentucky, I would not live in. Indiana, I would not live in. Florida is a tough one. Texas is appealing. California actually has changed some laws recently that makes it more appealing.
I'm interested to hear that.
Yeah, so one of the laws in California that was just passed is, when you get pulled over in California now, the police officer, the first thing they have to tell you when they come up to your car, before they ask you any questions, they have to tell you why they are pulling you over.
Okay. So
that is basically that's the only state where that law exists. And so in the other 49 states, when you get pulled over, you have to presume that the officer is scared of you and is going to come up to your window and ask you criminally investigatory questions. And then, you're going to say, "Well, why am I being pulled over?" And he's going to say, "I don't have to tell you. According to Pennsylvania versus Mims, for officer safety, get out of the car."
Yeah.
Right. Which is, not cool. Not cool at all. I mean, it's funny, man. It reminds me of, I don't know why, but on Facebook earlier, I was, scrolling, and George Floyd's case popped up again, and, what was that? When did it happen? 2020 or something like that, 3-4 years ago.
Something around there.
And so, for hours today, I'm reading these comments, all these Americans, thousands and thousands of comments, and none of them had ever seen the body cam until today.
Wow.
They didn't see what actually happened until today, and they're like, "Oh yeah, George Floyd deserved it." Within 60 seconds of the cop getting up to his car, the cop pulled his gun on him. George Floyd is up, the cop raps on his window with his torture stick, his mag light, tap, tap, tap. George Floyd gets startled. He looks, he's like, "Holy shit, there's a cop," Then he opens his door, the cop draws his gun on him, and the guy's like, "Please don't kill me." This is what Floyd says, "Please don't shoot me. Please don't kill me. I've already been shot by the police and tortured."
Right.
He didn't say tortured. I'm paraphrasing. But to put it in context, the guy had serious, extreme PTSD from that, earlier torture. And he was basically trying to tell the cops, you know, what obviously is not like, you know, Stephen Hawking, you know, but he was trying to tell the cops, like, look, man, I've got PTSD, like serious PTSD, you know, like, I think you're going to kill me. I think you're going to torture me. I think you're going to bind me, handcuff me, and torture me and kill me. And he's like begging for his life. Like, don't put me in that car because I'm probably going to end up dying alone in a cold cell after you beat me to death. Like Brittany Anderson, it just happened in Houston or Galveston County Jail. That like Brittany Anderson just was discovered mysteriously dead in Galveston County Jail. A mother of 5 in jail on a probation violation, basically murdered by the jailers, and no accountability.
Yeah,
so
man, disgusting. The what they can even sleep with at night after covering up such heinous things. And
dude, they're psychopathic killers, man.
But
like,
I would love to keep going with you, but I do have a few more people waiting, so I'm going to bring somebody else in. But
absolutely, man.
We
I
definitely
appreciate the platform. I'll keep in touch with you, but I'll hang out in the background and listen.
All right, sounds good, my man. We appreciate you being on the FAPA show, my man. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, take it easy. All right, so just say your name for me. I can't even really read what your name says, to be quite honest.
New Zealand, Kiwi, New Zealand.
Okay. Well,
is my name.
Just call you Kiwi. What's going on, Kiwi? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. I fell over just like the last person. I fell over your content. I believe I'm subscribed.
Okay. Well, thank you for being subscribed. We appreciate you here.
YouTube, because I'm a New Zealander, not an American, seems to have the right to stop me saying, hit the love button.
I'm sorry, hit the what?
They call it the like button.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate you saying that, my man. We appreciate you. Definitely listen. I
call it the love button, the thank you button, the like button.
Absolutely.
I watch from New Zealand thousands of dollars.
That's pretty far. That's one of the farthest people that I have watching me, to be quite honest. But thank you for being a fan, man. We really appreciate you.
But let me finish, please. YouTube blocks me, says I make too many comments.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. They definitely do that.
The support comments.
Yeah, no, obviously I don't ban any people. I don't mute any people on my end. So you might, I'm not sure.
Hey, no problem at all. Thank you.
No problem, my man. Thank you for coming on, Mr. Kiwi. We really thank you very much.
Thank you from New Zealand.
Absolutely. We much love to.
I appreciate because our flipping government follows or tries to make laws because of US laws. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, other than look at our maps or your maps when we went nuclear free and the US government took our country off the map below Australia and when we are neighbours, but
You know, honestly, it's definitely something I got to look into. But you know, I definitely have a couple more people that I want to bring in here. So
no,
thank
no
you much.
problem at all.
Thank
Thank you for letting me
you,
up.
thank you for being here.
I
But so
appreciate
thanks
what
for being on the FAP
you
show, man. We
have
appreciate
done.
it. But I
Take
gotta
care. Bye.
take it easy. Mr. Vegas VIPs, how you doing?
Hey, hey, what's up? I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. What's your opinion of Chili De Castro's recent arrest?
You know, there are things that he could have done better. There are things that the prosecution and the judge could have done better to make it a more cordial thing. You know, I honestly don't. I wouldn't condone going and speaking. I mean, I condone speaking the way you want to, but I wouldn't do it in the courtroom as such. I'm
Yeah.
to the utmost degree respectful in the courtroom when I'm there, and I have to defend myself, and I need these people on my side. So that I would say I would have done personally. I personally would have done different, but you know, to each their own. And you know, I'm sure he had his thoughts as to why he was doing what he was doing, and I'm sure there was some sort of logic behind it that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, because he took it upon himself to call the court bailiff a pig, and then he was looking at the judge and shaking his head and giving the judge like a sarcastic thumbs up and stuff.
I did
Um,
I did see that.
yeah, he definitely could have handled himself a little bit better.
I agree with
Um, my second question for you is, what's your opinion of Russell Wilson going to the Steelers?
that. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, my man. We'll see how it plays out. To be honest.
In my personal opinion, Russell Wilson is a choke artist, but that's just me. I don't know.
You know, we'll take one team's not so great quarterback, and I guess we'll put him on our roster and see how he does there. Not sure what the thought process behind that is, but you know, we got him for cheap, so I understand that.
Oh, and just one more thing before I go. I just wanted to say that Fraudert or Troll is a pansy, and you did pretty well against him for especially for like your first time debating someone of that caliber. You did a good job, and you held your own, I think. So yeah, and I've debated Dummy Kruger before,
You
and
have
it was
wow.
my. Oh, go ahead.
How did you be able to? How did you be able to get onto that show? You're talking about who? What's the name of his channel? Are you talking about Fraud at Wrangler? Is that who you're talking about, or am I mixing him up with somebody else?
As far as who I debated,
Yeah. Dummy, is that the actual name of his channel, or?
yeah, his channel name's Dummy Kruger.
Okay, yeah. So I was just unaware of who that was personally. But yeah, so well,
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. You know, when you're going up against when it's a battle of wits and you're going up against an unarmed opponent, I would have liked to have taken it easier upon him, but you know he went and put out a bunch of negative comments about me. So you know I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to hold back on somebody that has such a disdain for me and you know wants to use my likeness to be able to prop up his channel a little bit more because his you know his his channel isn't it you know mine I've been taking a break obviously, so you know views are going to slow down and I'm not gaining as subscribers as fast as I was, but you know when your community is the way it is on that side with complete negativity, all I hear pretty much is positivity from my side. um, and you know when you're dealing in that negative environment and have nothing but negativity, your channel is just not going to be in there for the long run. So I know I'm playing on the good guy's side here, and I know it's a battle of good and evil, and I know which side I stand on and which one is the easier side to stand on. So
I noticed that Dr. Dave guy has like 100,000 subs or more, but
mhm.
he only gets like 2K views on average on his videos. What's up with that? That's crazy.
I would think it's because he you know people the people that watched him before would get much more of a kick out of him going on live and getting drunk and spewing stuff about children and about guns and stuff like that and waving guns on the camera and you know making other threats to people. But now that he's not just spewing words into the air at nobody, now he's personally attacking people for God knows what reason. He can't even clarify what reason he's going against people like me. But when you're doing that, it doesn't make you look very good. So I completely understand why his viewership has gone down significantly.
Hey, do you know who Fraud at Wrangler is?
I do, yeah. He's definitely on the list of people that have put a bunch of videos out about me and talked bad about me. So if you have a way of getting me in contact with him, that'd be great, because I'd love to hear the absolute nonsensical opinions he has on the law and what I do, and for him to spew his nonsense and showcase his ignorance on the FAPA show as well.
If you look in your chat here, Becky WCM, that's one of his followers. Anytime you see a WCM, that means Wrangler cult member, and yeah, that's one of his followers right there.
Well, I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. Becky WCM. If you have such a strong opinion, you're more than welcome to join and try to get some knowledge in. Be the first one on you guys' opinion side to be able to get some knowledge in. But I'd be more than willing to give you the opportunity to talk to the latest greatest in the field. So
I think you would do well against Fraud at Wrangler in a debate against him.
Look, man, anybody that goes up against the way laws are written, and when you're going up against the side of truth and the side of good, it's not very hard to defend yourself. I have to lay the facts out as they sit, and these guys have to twist around the story and go straight to personal attacks when the twisting doesn't go their way, and it's kind of ridiculous.
Hey, I just have one last question before I take off.
Yeah, for sure.
If you can answer this, I'm not sure if you can answer this or not because of litigation, but I'm just curious, how much are you suing the chief? You're suing Chief Middleton. I'm just curious, is there a figure that you're suing him for?
Yeah, it's all up there. It's public knowledge, but it is for 500,000.
Oh, okay, 500K. Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate you being on the FAPA show, man. We love civil discourse over here. I'm open to all of it. So thank you for being on. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate it. So we've been going for almost 2 hours now. So if anybody else has any more comments or would like to join in for a few minutes, you're more than welcome. But if not, in a few minutes, I am going to head out of here. I've had enough nonsensical talk for today and having to deal with absolute ignorance. Not that the last two people that I spoke to actually were open to discourse and not, muting one side. When you're hosting a show and you're having people on to have a conversation and discourse, you don't go and mute them, and you don't go and kick them off the live because you've had enough. Just goes to show class versus no class there. But if anybody else would like to join, I will give you a couple more minutes, or if you guys just want to put your questions in the comment section, that works for me too. I'll get to answering them, or you can send me an email, whatever you'd like. But so there is nobody in the thank you, Tua. Appreciate you, my man. We appreciate you. Can I look who up? Internet killer. Killed the TV. Oh, Know Your Rights is back. All right. We'll bring him on for one more minute or two. You trying to come in, Know Your Rights, or what?
Yeah. If you got a second, I didn't get a chance to answer your question about how I discovered.
Absolutely.
I didn't get to tell you how I discovered the
How you discovered the what? I'm sorry, you were cutting out there. Okay. Well, I'm sure he'll join back here in a few minutes. Not sure what happened with his audio there, but we'll give him a few more minutes to join. No, it does take a second. There he is. I think he's back. Yep. Okay.
I did it again. I had both streams going.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So when I finally, my second set of lawyers finally did file a motion for discovery. They got the discovery, which took like 275 days all set to get. So once they got it for me on my behalf, I said, okay, I want to read it. And then my lawyers were like, you've got 5 minutes to read it. Now you've got to go and plea. And I was like, absolutely not. So I went in, spoke to the judge. I said, hey, I need like a week to go over this. And in doing so, I discovered that, I only had gotten 1 minute and 27 seconds of a video that was 5 minutes and 19 seconds long. So that wasn't good. And then I also detected that there were several critical police reports missing. And I was able to find, the judge ordered the prosecutor to get them to me. And I finally did get them. And what they were basically what they provided was only inculpatory evidence, and what they withheld was all of the exculpatory evidence that would prove that I was innocent. So I was arrested for felonious assault for being attacked on video.
Really?
I was retreating and I was attacked on video, and then I was subsequently arrested for felonious assault because one of the two guys who attacked me tripped and fell and hit his head and admitted that it was his choice to intervene that caused his own head injury, and the cops knew that before they arrested me.
Yeah, that's insanity, man. And it goes to show you when they try to hide those very important pieces of evidence, and it just so happens to be the only piece of evidence that you need to be able to get an adjudication on your side. It's absolute BS, man, and it's what we're trying to go against today. So
yeah, so I've got there's like 100+ elements to prove my innocence, and the only evidence that they used against me was the testimony of the people who attacked me.
That's great.
That's the only evidence that they have. Their allegation, their claim.
So a whole case based on hearsay, basically, pretty much.
Absolutely, yeah. And so I've subpoenaed 6 people now. I've got like 4 more people to subpoena, and of the 6 people I've subpoenaed, 3 of them are like the people that if I could choose, I wouldn't have testify, and the other 3 are the people that are beneficial to my case, and crickets. They all evaded their subpoenas.
Yep. So that's my God, I don't even know what to say. These people, they always want to speak out when it's against somebody, but they always want to retract any statement and have a closed mouth when it's trying to help somebody out. So it's ridiculous, man.
In one of the police reports that was held was the sergeant veteran who had been a police officer for 20 years. So his narrative report was withheld. And in that narrative report, one of the ladies, there was 2 guys and 2 girls. One of the girls said, and the police officer reiterated this in his police report. He said that as he was talking to this girl, she admitted that the reason that she did not write out her voluntary statement that night when the incident occurred was because the guy who strangled me instructed her not to write her voluntary statement because he believed that their statements would incriminate him. So that was captured in the police report that the prosecutor withheld.
That's insanity. That's crazy. It's the games that these people play on on the defense side. You have to play games as well, but the prosecution side, the games that they can play and how.
Yeah. I mean, none of this to be considered a game. No one's freedom is a game.
Oh no, absolutely. But they make it as such. They think it is, but
yeah, I get the impression that like you're into football. I'm a Steelers fan myself. My family's all from southwestern Pennsylvania, and so I grew up a Steelers fan. But I don't follow sports that much. But one thing I can tell you about the legal system in the United States is that the prosecutors, their plays in their playbook have been refined over 100+ years. Mm-hmm. And it's to detect their crimes is not easy to do. Yeah, you have to be very, very, very thoughtful about what's really going on. And at every turn in my case, I caught them.
Right.
And if you read my motion to dismiss, man, I think you might be like, okay, this guy might be, he might be a contender.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'll
Well,
actually, what I'll do is I have it in a PDF. I'll email it to you.
yeah. I was just gonna say, why don't you send it to me? That'd be a great.
Yeah, and I'll read your motions and briefs, and I don't know, man. Maybe we could set up a time. So another thing that I want to let you know is that because I've been dealing with the law, its erroneous nature for so long, for like literally decades. By the way, 41 years old prior to this incident, 0 criminal record.
Yep. Yep.
So and the guy who strangled me, he was actually ultimately charged in this incident like several days later. They let him voluntarily come in for booking. He was actually charged with assault because he assaulted me on video, and it's his fourth assault. Like the guy's got, and not only that, he keeps like one of the most high-profile defense attorneys on retainer, and he has, according to his criminal record, for like 15 years. And his first 2 charges were gross sexual imposition of a minor. So he's a pedo. He's a pedophile.
Right. Wow.
And they just slapped him on the wrist. He got a $100 fine. His charge was reduced to disorderly conduct, and he took it and ran.
Wow, man, that's insane. That's crazy. And that's part of the problem with the legal system today is, they want to go after these people that are, stealing candy bars and give them life sentences, but they want to give slaps on the wrist to people that do that kind of thing.
Well, if your business profits revolved around criminals, and the criminals provided the profit, what would be a more lucrative approach? You would release the criminals to cause more chaos and mayhem that would justify more police, right? And the innocent people like me, like you, they're not going to see us very often. So when they do have the opportunity to extort us, they take it to the maximum.
Right. Yeah. No. I've honestly never thought of it like that before, to be quite honest. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Think about COVID, right? Like, what does the criminal justice system, law enforcement need to be profitable? They need the human cash crop. They need people to extort. Well, during Corona, 2020, 2021, half of 2022, there was nobody out to extort. So now they've got to make up for it. They've got to make up for like billions of dollars in lost revenue.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, the people in charge, the higher echelon of people that actually hold the power, they definitely shot themselves in the foot a little bit, but they definitely did it with other plans and ulterior motives in mind. That's for sure, without question. And it's crazy that I was just reading something about this today. It's been more than 4 years now that we've been dealing with this, and the economy has been affected, and the everyday American people have been affected to the utmost degree, and it's disgusting. Something of this nature. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything else like that, so I'm not going to make any serious comments on that. But from what I can see, it definitely is a little bit ridiculous.
And the stock market makes all-time highs, and it has been for the last several months. So you got all these people suffering with excessive inflation, all the while they have this menticide, and they're like, I've got to go to work. I've got to be, I've got a job. I've got to go to work. I've got to work 2 jobs. I've got to work 3 jobs. They can't pay attention to what's really going on, man. They got to go to work, pay their taxes, feed their families, and all those profits go to the wealthy, to the elite, to the politicians, to the ruling class. And it's horrible, man, what this country's become.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, man. There's definitely a whole lot of downfalls that we could spend all day on, to be quite honest. But
I applaud you for what you're doing. You've come a long way in a short period of time. And one last point I'd like to make, I'll let you get to anybody else you got there, is I'm trying to follow in your footsteps.
Well, honestly, that makes me happy to hear, man. I appreciate that.
I mean, you're 20 years younger than me, and you have more courage than I did when I was your age. I mean, there was no way, that when we were in, my generation, when we were in our early 20s, we could, come to the same conclusions that you can now with what you have technologically speaking.
Right. And, not saying anything personally about you. This is more about Dr. Doofus than anything, but, with the fact that, the information, the same information and the same problems have been around so long. And, these older people say that the younger generation is ruining the world and still have all these problems. Where were they when they first arose?
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys passed a very dimly lit torch to us.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. But, it really, everybody wants to take down the top dog, man. So everybody, this is why I love the haters, because the haters, they come in and they make these derogatory statements, and they make assumptions about which they don't know. And, everybody wants to take down the top dog. So I just look at it as compliments all the way around the board. So I don't show any fear towards it. I have no qualms with anybody that wants to be the best.
Yeah, it's not personal, man. I mean, really, like, you got to thank all of the trolls. I mean, they like, I think they pump these ideas, this like positive message, more than anyone else does. I mean, they're like they're addicted.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. It really is an addiction, to be quite honest. And it all goes back to the ridiculous attitudes of people thinking that they know what they don't, and talking about which they do not know. And
yeah, so like, one word I try not to use at all is the word hate. I feel like just using the word perpetuates it. But could you just like imagine how impoverished intellectually you would be if like your whole life revolved around your addiction to hating people for their ideas and their thoughts and their beliefs. Like,
Yep.
that,
And
to me, that's like a large portion of the American populace.
No, I completely agree, especially with the side that I feud with so much. That it's all filled with negativity. There's no positivity at all. And I've been on live multiple times. This has been my third live debate, technically, if you even want to call it that. At least we had a couple more questions and a couple more statements that were substantial in anything, and any sort of held any sort of water. But when you surround your base with negativity like that, it's not a thing that's going to be in for the long run. So.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna give one last thing, man, and then I'll email you. Two people, man. I don't know if you've heard of these two people, but they're both lawyers, and they're both constitutional lawyers. C.J. Grisham out of Texas.
C.J. Grisham.
Yeah, the guy, he has a channel. It's like 2A something or other. If you want, I'll email that to you.
Okay.
And then the other lady, her name is Catherine Henry, and she's in Florida, but she's not. She is not licensed in Florida. She's only licensed at the Supreme Court level, and I think 4 other jurisdictions. One of them, where she originally resided, is in Michigan. And yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you letting me in to speak, and hopefully, I'm trying to grow my subscriber level to 50 plus, so I can go live. I've submitted several FOIA requests here for torture that I experienced at the hands of the jailers who threatened me, and then followed through with their threats. And they denied all my requests. And I have a bunch of footage of me going in and them denying me. And then basically what they resulted in saying was like, you have to sue us to get it.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. The fact that they can even put that, they did that in writing. They said that in writing.
No, recorded phone calls. Basically, when I went into so the records department is at the jail.
Right.
So I went and I filed the first FOIA request. They came back and said, your request is too broad, because I was like, I want all my recorded phone calls from jail. I want all the video of me, and like they shuffled me around to maximum security to like a bunch of different cells. And they threatened me. And so I wanted the threat, and I didn't want to tell them, hey, this is when the threats occurred. I just want this video. I just asked for everything. And they were like, it's too overly broad. So then I went back and was like, okay, on video, I want this very specific hour or 2 hours of time, this video from this area of the jail. And when I was threatened, and then the girl came back and she was like, oh, well, we're not the jail. You got to talk to the jailers and the head jailer to get that information. And I'm like, this is the records department. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I go to the jail and they're like, oh, no, we can't help you. You got to go back to the records department. So then she CC'd me on the head jailer's email. And I was like, in an email, I was like, hey, you know, I reached out to him in an email. Like, did he get my emails? And she was like, yeah, he got your emails. He just ignored me.
Wow. Wow.
So it's just a like perpetual runaround until you go away, man. That's their game. Like, just wait you out. Like, you'll eventually just run out of steam and go away.
Well, just like Dr. Dave kind of assumed, I'm here for the long run, man. Nobody runs me out. Nobody runs me out of town. And you know, I'm gonna be here to stay. I have all the energy in the world for this, man, and I love doing this. I love civil discourse just as much as the next guy. But you know, when I can sit on the right side and just talk the truth and not have to listen to a run around and create a fake story as to why I do what I do, and it makes it very easy, and it makes a hilarious video to watch these people flounder in their own ignorance. And
yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up on all your other content, man, because it's just impressive, like the idiocracy and the stupidity of them all. You know, it's like, for me, it's unfathomable to think that this is how people think. Like, these are the thoughts that course through their brains.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, it's hilarious. But definitely, so if you want to look after, definitely check out Dr. Dave's like chats, like the live stream chat, and at the end especially, look at what they say. And
yeah, I honestly, man, one of my favorite channels is For Public Safety.
okay.
And I've basically been following. Are you familiar with him?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I've been following him since like the sheriff, like before the sheriff was arrested. And he was charged with like 100 felonies or whatever it is, and then his wife was charged with like 10 felonies, and then her daughter, I think it was her daughter, was charged with like 5 felonies or something like that. But anyways, Vegas VIPS or VIPS, I think that's what his name was.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about Dummy Kruger and fraud at Wrangler. So fraud at Wrangler is Michael Kaiser, and
Yep.
he shot a veteran in the back of the head in 2009, I think it was.
Wow.
And so, anyways, when I first heard about Dummy Kruger's channel, I went there, and dude, I read through it. I was like, man, like this is such trash. You know what I mean? Like, it's such vitriol and not true. You know, it's just like, how could anybody? Like I said, man, you have to be mentally addicted to hate to enjoy that kind of content, in my opinion. And so, like, you know, Dummy Kruger, he's far more intelligent than Michael Kaiser, who was fraud at Wrangler. Fraud at Wrangler's probably going back to jail here. He's apparently been a thief his whole life. He's currently got 5 charges on that he's working. 2 are theft. 1, I think, is burglary. 1 is trespassing. And so I mean, it's like, you know, for me, in my experience, not all police are horrible. I don't hate all police. I don't actually hate any police. I try not to hate anyone. Absolutely. You know, it's just like, I know there are good police. You know, I know, you know, there are terrible criminals, but like, how closely related are they? You know?
Yeah, it's you know, it all seems to roll downhill and run in the family. That's for sure.
Well, like, one question I have is like, did like some law enforcement agency like put, you know, Michael Kaiser up to like getting on YouTube and like spewing all this nonsense? You know, like, who,
an informant and planted opponent to the.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the guy's got a criminal record. They're hanging it over his head. You know, they need like a subversive agent, right?
Yep.
Someone to just get out there publicly and just, you know, somewhere where all the police officers on duty and their family members can go and just, you know, share their hatred and their narrative, you know? Like, this guy that you were debating, or it wasn't really a debate, the Dave guy, like, I'd never heard of that guy until today.
A lot of people haven't. You know, he has you know, I think
and I already went to his channel. I'm like, okay, another Dummy Kruger. You know what I mean?
Pretty much. pretty much.
Yeah. So
But it has.
hopefully the truth prevails, man. That's what we can hope.
It always will, man. It always does, no matter how long it takes. Just as long as you have the right person fighting for it, it always will. It always will. And I'm here to stay. I'm here to fight. So
yeah, I mean, I honestly think, man, that the We the People movement, like the 1A, 2A community, I think it's growing. And you're a perfect example of it growing, but it's growing like exponentially fast.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, it is. It's definitely gained popularity in the last couple months, which is why it's very unopportune time for me to take a break. But like I said, I've been dealing with a lot of other things as well. So, but
yeah, I'll try to reach out to you directly, man, when you got some time.
Absolutely, man. I always got time. I always got time to talk about First Amendment, man. So, but anything else, you definitely give me a reach, and I'll make sure I get back to you. I always respond to all my emails. So.
Sounds good. Hey, could you do one last thing, man? Could you post that Vegas VIP's link in your comment section on the stream?
Yeah, sure. For like on my live stream, you mean a link to his channel or like?
Yeah. Like so I could subscribe because he seemed like a intellectual kind of guy, someone that I might appreciate.
See if I can. I'll see if I can see him in the chat here.
When's your next court hearing or proceeding?
Well, I have jury trial on the 25th, so I think that's. Oh no, not the 25th. Excuse me, the 27th. So that's
27th, like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
not even. Yeah, so is it your first civil case?
No, it is not. It's my last of my criminal cases that are open right now. They took a trespassing charge to jury trial because I've been tried 3 times before. 2 of the cases were no pros and dismissed, and one of them I defended myself in a 3-hour trial and was found not guilty. So they're
dude, that's incredible, man. That is super inspiring. So I don't have a trial date yet, but man, I'm ready. I'm excited for trial.
Absolutely, yeah. No, this is the first time I've been going through jury trial too, so this is going to be an interesting time for me as well.
I thought you just said that you defended yourself at jury trial, or no?
Bench trial, the first.
Oh, okay.
First
yeah, I just found a study of, I forget who did it, but what they studied was every state's laws on when you can have a jury trial, and basically Nevada has like one of the worst laws on it.
Yeah, no, I honestly, before this happened, I wasn't even aware that the prosecution could choose a jury trial. To be quite honest, I thought it was up to me, so I was really caught off guard once they said, "Yeah, no, we're pushing your court date another 2 months." So,
really, they did. You had no say in it, representing yourself.
No, they didn't want to hear my motion. The last court date I was at, they didn't want to hear my motion at all. They heard everybody else's motions to continue and for no pros and like the plea, they want to take plea deals and stuff to continue and to dismiss as well. And when it came time for my docket, for my number to be on the docket to come up, and he just didn't want to hear. He just didn't want to hear anything. He didn't let me talk. He didn't let me put my motion through. Nothing. So he was like, "Yeah, just wait till your next court date. We'll hear it then." Sorry.
Have you asked to record your upcoming jury trial?
No, I haven't. I'll probably end up asking there.
Yeah. Make sure you file that motion like ahead of time if you can. Obviously you can ask the day of, but it's easier if it's not on the record, beforehand to deny it.
Right. Yeah.
Have you had anybody come like as like a journalist to record or report on your hearings?
Not that I'm aware of, to be quite honest. I've never really put out my court dates or where it was, like, per se, when it was happening. But obviously anybody's welcome, so that'd be cool.
Right. Yeah. It's fascinating, man. Like, it's like we're learning together. It's like as a collective, as as a people, we're learning the laws together, so we can protect ourselves.
Right.
And I think that's pretty amazing, pretty incredible. Yeah. And so your trial date is, what day is it exactly again?
27th.
27th.
Yep.
And what's the charge? Is trespassing? One charge of trespassing?
Yep. Trespassing.
And how many jurors on the jury? Do you know?
I think it should be 6. No, not 6.
It could be anywhere between 6 and 12, but it's not. It won't be 12. So it'd be like between 6 and 11. It's usually 6 or 8, sometimes 9, depending on the jurisdiction.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. That really it's not my biggest of worries, to be honest. Like I said, they charged me with trespassing from private property when I was in a post office. So I've defended myself once against that, and it's.
So were you auditing a post office?
Yeah, I was. Yep.
Is the encounter in your content?
Absolutely. All four of my false arrests are.
That's incredible, dude. I mean, people like you obviously have a ton of courage, in my opinion. If you've been arrested, you know what kind of torture it is.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Not a lot of people are mentally able to go through it, and I'm standing up for everybody that can't. Oh well, he just left. Not sure if he did that on purpose or if his connection was interrupted, but it has been 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I think I am gonna head out here for today. To be honest, I'll bring him in for one more second. I'll bring him in for one more minute. But yeah,
I lost you there, but
that's all right. That's all right. I just wanted to bring you back in and say it was a pleasure having with you.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks, man. It's been a nice conversation.
Absolutely, and thank you for the words of confidence and encouragement here. It really boosts the morale around here. So.
Well, you've got, dude, I want to say you probably have.
Thank you.
I don't know, 20 to 50,000 people on the sidelines, trying to overcome their fear to stand up to these people.
Right.
I mean, and that's probably a super conservative. I mean, so, and why I say that's probably super conservative, I'm going to leave you guys with 2 statistics. Do you know how many people were arrested in the United States in 2022?
Oh, goodness, no.
8 million.
Okay.
That's quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then on average, how many people are pulled over in the United States every day?
Oh boy. Probably close to the same number. I have
50,000 a day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I thought you were
going. Based on those numbers, man, all of the people who are like, it'll never be me. Right. Like it's going to be you.
That's literally their job. Their job is to, get into a situation where they can control you and they can talk you in circles and, use the law to their advantage and your disadvantage. So it's the way it's written and the way that people don't know it's written. So, this is why I come out here and try to create transparency and give other people the voice that they're looking for and the motivation to go out. Maybe not do what I do because not everybody can handle it and not everybody would probably be able to do it as well as I do. But I vote everybody to go and try it once, as long as you know enough and are, confident enough in yourself. And
if you can, by all means, take someone else with you with another camera.
Yeah. No, I have before, and the one time that I actually did bring somebody else with me, I was arrested, and she was able to drive my car home. So that was
right. Yeah. No, I've done it, man. I've gone alone and I've recorded them. I haven't done it alone, and it wasn't by design, but I think about it and I'm like, man, walking into the courthouse, into the areas where I can record, it's between the judge's chambers and the prosecutor's office,
right.
Like they're definitely going to try to arrest me.
Of course.
They actually did. The prosecutor was like, this is not an accusation, but your now withdrawn attorney is missing her cell phone. Do you have it or know where it is? Like she was trying to intimidate me and tell me that she has enough power to arrest me just based on an allegation. In that case, it would have been a felony.
Right. That's
so. I mean, like I said, man, the playbook they have, it is refined and it is psychological. It's not about just binding your hands behind your back and putting you in a cage.
Right.
It's psychological torture.
Oh yeah, they drag you through the process, man. They drag you through the dirt in the process.
Yeah, in India, they say the process is the punishment.
Right. Right.
and they, man, they've got it right.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true, man. It's absolutely true. It's crazy. There are lots of flaws. There are some good, but the bad outweigh the good by a long shot.
Well, you keep up the good work, man. I'm gonna keep an eye on you, dude, and I'll reach out if I have any questions. Maybe you can help me with.
Absolutely, man, and I'll do the same for you without question. Without question.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Take it easy. Thank you for being on the FAPA show, man. Not everybody has got the gall to do it, so I'll give it to you there.
Absolutely.
Take it easy now. Have a good night.
You too, man.
All right, guys. So it's the end. Sorry, I have to put a cap to this, but I am going to head out of here for today. So if you aren't already, make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell notifications. I'm going to be, as soon as this last criminal case is adjudicated, I'm going to be going out and we'll be doing more filming. I'll be posting regularly, 3 to 5 times a week. I'm going to hold myself to 3 at least. So 3 to 5 times a week uploads, and we'll be going live sometimes, depending on where I'm at, where I'm going to be filming at. But thank you all for being here. Thank you guys for your comments, for your love, for your support, and thank you for the hate too, because I know it comes from a place of you wish you were where I am. So thank you for the love. Thank you so much, guys. But we'll catch y'all in the next one. If you guys have anybody that you think might have the balls to come and debate me live and actually want to have a real conversation, then definitely send them my way, and we'll talk and we'll make something work. But not a lot of people want to do that, and I wouldn't blame them, as you guys saw today. So thank you for being here. We'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.